Well, I decided to make this video. I'm not an expert at this, but I just bought 3 of these units and put 2 together already, so I figured I'd make a quick video because I couldn't find anything online. So let's get started here. This is the CTB 16 PC from Light-O-Rama. I guess the Planet Christmas model of it. Open this up. For now, we'll take the cords out and set them on the floor here. Here we got our box, which we won't need for a little while, actually, until the very last step. So we'll just set that aside. And then the part that we will be working on is this thing here. Now, do be careful, it does actually have a lot of sharp edges on this thing. So luckily I haven't cut myself yet. So these are just placed in here, so we're just going to take them out of here and unscrew the clamps. And then we're going to put the big ones in here. Just wiggle them a little bit. Do that one. I'm putting the screws facing up, so later on when I tighten it'll be a little easier. Now there's a couple ways of doing this. I chose to use the wrench here, channel lock, get these kind of nice and straight here, and then while I hold it in place, I tighten it up, holding the back so it won't spin. And I just tighten it up. The other way is you could take a hammer and a screwdriver and try to knock it around, but this way it tends to be a little bit easier, it looks like. Nice and tight. Alright, so that's all good. The next thing we are going to need is out of this box here. Just push the button here to open it up. Maybe, okay. I need, out of the bottom, I need these rubber grommets. They just slide out of here. And on these, take my knife here, and carefully, without cutting myself, if you look at them very carefully, there actually has little marks in there, and you cut from the outside towards the inside. That would probably be better to do this on a block of wood. But I'm just going to cut each one across here. Alright, so I got all the cuts now. That all looks good. And then I'm going to do the same thing for these other 2. This one's a little harder because you got to kind of, you can reach inside there to do it. Or you can do it from the other side because you know it's half, half, and half. So I'm going to do that in a second. Okay, we're all done with the cutting the holes in these. Now the next thing I'm going to need is the 2 long power wires. Let's see what you got here. And I'm going to feed them through the cuts that I've made. Feeding them from the deeper side out through here. There's one. And there's 2. And then what I'm going to do is feed them through this center hole here. There's 1 and 2. And I'm going to feed them and make them nice and even here. And I'm going to leave about an inch or so. Seems about good there. And then tighten these down nice and even here. And they don't have to be overly tight, just enough so it's not going to pull out. Alright, so that's tight enough. That's all good. So the next step, what we're going to do is grab a pack of wires here and using my silver Sharpie, I'm going to start labeling them. 1 through 8 on this set, and then I will do 9 through 16 on the other set. What I typically do is, let's say I'll put the number on both sides of the plug. That way later on it's easier to find. And then on the black side of the plug, I want to put the same number, because this is going to, when I plug it in later on, I need to know that this is number 1. You could use a black marker. The silver Sharpie is still readable, so I'm just going to put a 1 on here. Like that, it's still readable. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go through all the rest of my wires here, and neatly as possible, just number them 1 through 16. And we're going to do that right now. Okay, now that we're done labeling all our wires, I'm going to take one of these grommets here and start feeding them through. We start with I'm using 1, 2, and 3. I don't think it really matters that they're next to each other. So we're going to feed them through the grommet. This takes a few minutes here because you got to get each one through, and they're all different lengths. And obviously the more you shove in here, the harder it gets, but okay. Okay, that's the bottom 3. And they're going to do it in rows. I'm going to do a row of 3, another row of 3, and the row of 2. And they'll fit right in like that. So we'll do the rest here on the next row. And then I'm going to put in the last 2, number 7 and 8 here. And I've got them through, get them about equal here. You need to pull this back a little further, I think. Now, on our relief bracket here, we're definitely going to have to unscrew these as far as possible. We got to shove all these through that hole. So all the way up until the screw is just about ready to come out, which you can just feel from the bottom there. Now the fun part comes. Try to gather all this up and put it through the hole there. So you got them all in there, and again we want the 3 at the bottom, and this is where you have to twist it a little bit to gently massage it through. Alright, they're all through now. Now I need to straighten some of these, try to get them all a little bit about the same distance here, so I'm just going to work them back and forth until they seem about the right, all about the same distance for now. Okay, you want them about, for now, you want them just to be about level with this stud sticking out right here. Okay, we can adjust them a little bit in a few minutes when we put them in. But we're going to wrap the grounds around here, so we need plenty of room. So that's about what you want. And then we're just going to tighten this down for now. Like that. And we're done with this one side. Now I'm going to work on the other side, and then we'll come back. Alright, so now we're back. I got the other side done. All looks good. We can slide these collars up really close because that's what's going to need to be done when we insert them in the box. Now the next step I changed a little bit. I found it a little bit easier to do this way. You need to take all these green wires and put them on the loops here. Okay. First one I can start with is the power ground here. And I can loop that bad boy on here. Now, the trick is you got to separate all these green ones, okay, and try to find the best route. And what you're going to want to do is loop them around and underneath, okay? That's why I do it outside the box. I find it's a lot easier to loop them. And trying to make the best path possible here. Keep separating the green and looping them under and putting them on the post.